Fujifilm X-T50. Is this camera expensive? Let's talk about this now. Hi there and welcome to my channel, Tudor Matescu here. In this video I want to treat this subject. Is this camera expensive from Fujifilm? I've said at the initial review when I've looked at the launch that the camera is expensive because when we compare this camera to X-T5 we will have some problems when we are looking at the price. So I want to address this subject, and if you are in content like this, please subscribe now to my channel. Why I want to address this subject? Because I've decided in the end to buy this camera for some reasons. And some of those reasons were addressed in my comments by some of my viewers that said that Fujifilm made my dream camera. This what a commenter said to me, my dream small camera, and I will buy it indifferently of the film dial, indifferently of the differences between price of the X-T50 and the price of X-T5. And this remained into my head. It remained into my head. And a friend of mine also said to me that X-T50, it's wow, it's extraordinary, it's small, and so on. It has all that you could want on it. And also this remained behind my head. And after the time passed, I've started to change my mind and to think, what if is this the camera that I was always looking for? A small capable camera, because I've always wanted a small capable camera that it's able to do it all. I can ignore the film dial, I've said to myself. And after trying Nikon Z5 and being disappointed with the AF of Nikon Z5 and with the size in the end of Nikon Z5, I've said X-T50 is small. If I will pair it with a bigger lens from Fujifilm, I will get full frame-like image quality in a smaller body. Yes, it's more expensive than Nikon Z5 or other options, but this will work for me because I have the tilt screen that I was always wanted. I have a silent mechanical shutter because I have X-T30 Mark II and I know how X-T30 Mark II is working, and I hoped Fujifilm will put on the camera electronical first curtain, and they've put this on X-T50. So even if X-T50 has the sound of the mechanical shutter of X-T30 Mark II, it is more silent than X-T30 Mark II because of the first electronical shutter that you have on X-T50. And I don't have this on X-T30 Mark II. Now, let's address specs, options, and what is with this X-T50. First of all, we must not judge this camera regarding specs compared to X-T5. And if we will judge it like this, we must take into account personal needs of each photographer. And in some cases, and in my case, the spec that this camera, it is very small and very light. It's pure gold for me because I have the chance to shoot such a small capable camera and I can let go my X-T5 because this is very important for me. As a street photographer, as a family photographer, as a hobbyist, why carry a bigger weight with me when I have the chance to carry a smaller camera with me that will do the same great job? So regarding specs, this size and weight of X-T50 for me, for myself, for my taste as somebody who loves small cameras, and this is why I'm shooting Fujifilm, and this is why I was shooting Olympus Micro Four Thirds and other small cameras like Ricoh GR. Why I've paid so much money for Ricoh GR3X? If you are looking at the specs, I've paid so much money on Ricoh GR3X because it is small, pocketable. And X-T50, it is as small as my X100V. It is smaller than X106, so it's small and pocketable. So this size and this weight that are very, very small are mattering a lot for me, but more than that. And this is the extraordinary thing that Fujifilm was able to do here, is that this camera is not as small as X-T30 Mark II. So regarding size and weight, this camera, it's a perfect balance. It's the perfect size and weight to not miss some ergonomics. So I can pair the camera with bigger lenses or with smaller lenses and it will remain very comfortable in my hand, and I have big hands. And I'm okay, I don't have the pinky it's not needed for me. I'm not shooting 7-8 hours with the camera. And if I need a bigger lens, I can always add a grip, because talking about grips, look at the X-T5 grip. It's still small. It's not doing a great job with a bigger lens. So the grip of X-T5, the ergonomics, because it is much bigger with a bigger lens, the camera doesn't stay well in the hand. You really need to add another grip to make it a more comfortable hold with a bigger lens. So X-T50 is doing this for me very, very well. Now let's talk about this dial that on specs, as Fujifilm experts, users said, and I was saying myself, this is the heel of X-T50, because we all focused on this film dial. It's a great thing, it's not a great thing, we lose a drive dial, But let's be serious, in real world use, after I've used the film dial, after I had the experience of drive testing this camera, the film dial, it's making a huge difference compared to other XT cameras, XE4 cameras, and even X100 cameras. So why is this? Because it's fun. It's very, very fun, and you feel the joy of using this film dial. It's not a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. If you go in a holiday, and if you are traveling with family, with friends, and if you don't want to mess with custom recipes, you have this film dial that it's a lifesaver. Shoot just in JPEG? Why not? I've did this myself. And you are at the peace of mind, because you will be able to get what you want with this camera. So doing a portrait, put STR. Doing some vintage like film photography, put classic negative or nostalgic negative. Make a landscape photography, put Velvia. So simple, so simple. Do some street photography, put classic chrome. Set the Q menu to adjust some settings, shadow, highlights and clarity. And this is it. It's very simple, very simple. So the fun with this camera, it is huge because of the film dial and how I've set it up. Of course, Fujifilm can take it to the next level. I've said, like other Fujifilm experts, that it will be cool if they will offer us the chance to save recipes on each position of the dial. I think it will not be cool because the dials are marked, and it will be cool if they will put the chance to save recipes on FS1, FS2 and FS3 positions. This will take the camera to another level. I completely agree with this. But more than that, the film dial has sense because Fujifilm is changing the way that the Q menu is working. The Q menu now doesn't save just recipes. And we talk about Fujifilm recipes, but the Q menu also it's saving power options, it's saving AF options, it's saving crop options. So it's saving lots of user options on the Q slots, not just recipes. And the Q slots don't function like the previous one, like on X Pro 3, XC2S and other Fujifilm old cameras. So the Q slots now are a totally mess, because if you are accustomed to set recipes, you'll have problems in keeping the recipes, in keeping the settings, in making adjustments. And this is where the film dial comes into play. This is where the film dial is making magic on X-T50. So the film dial with the new firmware of X-T50 and other Fujifilm cameras, that again, the Q slots is not dedicated to film recipes, is making a huge deal in the flow, in how you are using your Fujifilm camera. So the film dial, it's a big step forward in having a camera that will help you take pictures. Now, another problem that I had was, do I have enough buttons compared to X-T5? And yes, I do have enough buttons. The drive dial, it's here. With a movement of my joystick, I can go in the video menu, and with a movement of my joystick down or up, I can go into the continuous shooting, so more frames per second if I need this. So it's very easily to access the drive dial, fast and easy. Now, you could say that I don't want to look into the menus. It's not like looking into the menus. Also, when you set the camera with the drive dial, the drive wheels that you have here, also you must look at the camera to see where you are. So it's the same in the end, and it's better on the screen because you know where you are. So overall, I feel I'm not losing the ergonomics of X-T5. So let's talk now about battery life. Because you could say X-T5 has a bigger battery life, X-T5 has a better EVF, X-T5 has dual SD cards, and X-T5 it is weather resistant. These are the specs that Fujifilm for them is asking at least $300 plus $200 depending on the offers. Now, as a hobby photographer, as a street photographer, as a family photographer, do I need dual SD cards? No, I don't need them. In 20 plus years of photography, I never had a card failed on me, and I've shot some pictures. Next, do I need weather-resistant bodies? Yes, I do need weather-resistant bodies, but very, very rare, in very rare cases, where I can use an umbrella or some protective options for the camera. But this is where the tricky part is. Fujifilm is saying that this is weather-resistant. But lots of users complain that the weather-resistant is not something that you could rely on. And I've started to have doubts regarding the weather-resistant bodies of the Fujifilm cameras. So I have doubts. I have my doubts. I don't want to put this camera in danger or any other Fujifilm camera. So because now I have doubts, the cameras aren't IP rated, I think this is how it's called, so we don't know how weather resistant they are, and I understand that if you ruin the camera because of water entering into the camera, you lose warranty. So where is the weather resistant here? So where it is? I feel it's more like a marketing gimmick. Yes, it's offering me some peace of mind, but again, I'm not willing to pay the extra weight for me, for myself. So the smaller size, the smaller weight, it's making me look at X-T50 more. It's a very important spec here. You pay for a smaller size and the camera is still ultra capable. It's as capable as X-T5. You could say that yes, you have a slower mechanical shutter, a slower frames per second. Again, I don't use it for this. I don't use it to shoot sports. Also, I would not use X-T5 to shoot sports. To shoot sports with Fujifilm, I would buy X-H2S. So X-H2S, it's for stuff like this, not X-T5. X-T5 also doesn't have a power grip. So X-T5 is still a hobbyist camera. You could say, okay, but I want to use bigger lenses and they will balance better. And I do agree with this, but on X-T50, I have the option to add a grip. And also I would add a grip on X-T5 if I want a better balancing option. So X-T50 for me, for my photography and for my taste, it is much, much better at a lesser price, than X-T5. Now, is this camera expensive? Well, looking at what X-T50 is doing, so it can replace X-T5 for lots of street photographers that are wanting a small, capable camera with great AF. So this is another point that I must address here. The AF of X-T50, it is very good, and I think it is even better than X-T5 because you have an option that it's launched for at least 1 year with X100V, the zone focusing option, custom zones that are looking for the IAF just in the custom zone. You can't do this with X-T5. Just this option is deserving the price, or it's a very attractive offer to get X-T50. Who knows if Fujifilm will put this on X-T5 or they are waiting to put this on X-T6, X-H2S Mark II and the next Fujifilm cameras. Let's be serious, why is not on X-T5 if this option is on X100V at least from 1 year ago? So you have better IAF and better controls of your AF system that it's at least as powerful or not even better than X-T5. You have great IBIS, and I don't know why I'm feeling better how the IBIS is working on X-T50. It's a subjective impression. I may be wrong, but I feel the IBIS here is working. I feel it how it's working. On X-T5, I wasn't able to feel it. I wasn't able to feel that the IBIS is helping me. On this small camera, I feel the IBIS is really helping me. So huge deal here. So overall, you are able to see that you lose some specs, but you win lots of specs, size, weight, IBIS AF, film dial that is very fun to shoot, and so on X-T50. Now, having all this in mind, let's look at Sony a7CR, because X-T50 could be compared with Sony a7CR. It has 40 megapixel sensor and it is a small, ultra capable camera in the Fujifilm APS-C system. In the full frame system, you have Sony a7CR that is the smallest full frame camera with a big sensor, like 60 megapixel sensor. So why not pay at least $1,500 less on X-T50 compared to Sony a7CR that has a very loud mechanical shutter, that has a flip screen that is not great for street photography, and so on and so on. I know it's a full frame, but this with pro lenses, it's giving me full frame like image quality with JPEGs that Sony will never get out of the camera, straight from the camera, never ever, or too soon. So why pay $1,500 more on Sony a7CR when you can get this in your pocket? Why have a Ricoh GR3 with you or an X106 when you can have this in your pocket that is cheaper than X106? Why carry this X-T5 with you when you don't have a battery grip, so you can't justify this as a professional camera when you have this? So if you only need a weather resistant body, dude, SD cards, and you are okay with the weight because you are a particular photographer that likes to shoot a hobby camera for event photography, because you don't have a power grip and you need batteries. And also with the latest firmware, the battery of X-T5 is draining faster, This X-T50 battery is lasting almost like X-T5 with the small old Fujifilm battery. Is this crazy or what? So having all this in mind, now I do understand what my commenter said, that this is the dream small camera that Fujifilm did, and I will buy it because there is no other small camera such capable and with such more power in it. So the power of this camera, it is amazing. It's really a game changer. Really a game changer. We can't talk about a small camera that it is so powerful like X-T50. We can't talk, there is no other camera that it's so powerful like X-T50. Let's be serious. It's crazy good, and the price, it's a bargain compared with what this camera is offering to you. So this camera is offering to you a platform where you can mount Voigtlander lenses f1.2, f0.95 and have a smaller camera than a full frame that is giving you amazing jaw-dropping image quality and amazing jaw-dropping colors and tonalities, and I could go on and on regarding video specs and so on. So it's a bargain if you will put this camera into the right perspective and if you'll use this camera. It's really a bargain nowadays, and I feel that X-T5, it starts to become outdated because of X-T50. But you must really put the hand on the camera, you must really use it, and again, you must have passion like me towards small cameras. So if you are passionate about small cameras like Ricoh GR, like X100V, like Lumix GX9 cameras or other cameras, this is the rocket, this is next level, this is a quantum leap forward. It's the next step, and Fujifilm really did this with X-T50. And having all this in mind, the price of this camera, it is really a bargain for what it's offering. This is my conclusion and my personal conclusion, because this camera will save me money. I will sell lots of my cameras because of this. I really would prefer to have two X-T50 bodies than complicate my life with X-T5, with Ricoh GR, with Lumix cameras and with other small cameras. This is the king of the small cameras, and Fujifilm did this, and I really appreciate it for this. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe now to my channel if you are in content like this. Use my affiliate links if you want to buy something from the gear that I'm using. And give it a like, leave me your comments, share my video with your friends, and also, yes, be sure to check the next video. This is helping my YouTube channel to grow a lot, and it's free for you. And also subscribe to my newsletter if you aren't subscribed for more tips and tricks regarding photography. I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.